panel was chosen actually quite deliberately to represent both creative thinkers in large institutions, people who have redesigned and thought creatively within the traditions of well-established large institutions, and then a newer generation of musical entrepreneurs.
Having been one of the architects of large symphony orchestras for a long time, and now being out of it, that huge machine is to me one of the drags. I believe pretty clearly that the times are demanding far more nimbleness.
Look at the greatest masterpieces that we have in our repertoire that form our so-called tradition today. They are the result of forward thinking and wild experimentation and unbelievably bold and courageous aesthetic steps forward.
I was in a master's degree program at the time. I was taking auditions for the Detroit Symphony. I thought it was pretty hot stuff. And yet I was beat out for the audition for first chair by an 18-year-old girl. And I thought she had grown up in, you know, in the government or as an oil family or something. And she had grown up in the slums of Caracas and had been part of an incredible program called El Sistema.
I started noticing that lots of bands would be playing at the Mercury Lounge with, you know, a violin, a viola, a cello, and a laptop. And I asked a colleague of mine one day at the Chamber Music Society, is that chamber music? And she said, I don't think it is. And I said, you know, what is the firewall between what goes on in Alice Tully Hall and what goes on at the Mercury Lounge? And she thought about it for a second, and she said, well, you know, I think at Carnegie Hall it's considered really rude to lean over your neighbor and say, wow, this is pretty awesome, whereas at the Mercury Lounge, that's okay.
It's a wonderful question to end with, to have someone say, well, if the work that Ronen is doing and Katie is doing, if that's what's attracting new young audiences and that's where a lot of creativity is occurring, what does that mean for orchestras? I think it's a well put and very important question. And this is just the beginning of a series of discussions that I think the League will be sponsoring.